love color so much. It's just one of my favorite things. I love that it is this perfect combination of something that can be very methodical and scientific and also very expressive, very emotional. So to get started, I'm gonna fill in my color wheel here. So I'm working in watercolor. First of all, we have our primary colors, and they are spaced out like a triangle on the color wheel.
So to do the secondaries, I am using pre-made colors, but I could use the primaries to create the secondaries if that's all I had.
Now, before I fill in these tertiary colors, tertiary is the name of the color that goes in between a primary and a secondary. So you can hear those root words. Primary is 1, secondary is 2, and tertiary is 3, like third. Now I'm gonna jump over here to my warm and cool chart before I do the tertiaries, because the colors I choose to make my tertiaries will matter a lot. You don't just choose your one yellow and your one green, because if you have ever seen a paint set or a color pencil set, you know that there isn't just one green in the world or one yellow or one anything. There's dozens of different options to choose from. So which one do you choose? And what are the differences? And that's what I want you to be able to recognize when you see any color. I want you to be able to look at it and notice, what is the hue? What is the value of that color? What is the chroma or the intensity? Is it a pure color, or is it like a muddied, more neutralized version of that color? So the easiest way to think about warm and cool colors is just to split the basic hues into the two categories. So colors that are warm, think fire, those colors are warm colors. Red, yellow, blue, I'm sorry, red, yellow, and orange typically go in the warm color section, whereas the cool colors generally are purple, blue, and green. But there is actually a lot more to it than that. Okay, so right here I have written split primaries. I would rather have 2 of each primary color, 2 yellows, 2 reds, 2 blues, than any of the secondaries or tertiaries or lower chroma colors. You know, you see these huge, massive sets of colors, and usually you don't need that many. So you need to notice when you're looking at yellow, does the yellow color lean towards orange over here, or does it lean towards green? And that can be very subtle. If it leans towards orange, it's a warm yellow. If it leans a little more towards green, it's a cool yellow. So right here, I have 2 yellows, cool and warm, because this is just slightly more orange and this is just slightly more greenish. It's not that it looks green, but just when you compare them, this one is definitely more green than that one. Really quickly, these are all my reds. These are my red watercolors that I have. It's good to take the medium that you have and make a chart like this of comparing each of the colors. And then that can also tell you which one is really the most in the middle, pure version of that color. I might choose Scarlet Lake or Cad Red. So I definitely think my cadmium red is a little warmer, whereas on this chart, my alizarin crimson is definitely the coolest, the most leaning towards purple. So now I have 3 pairs of primaries, a cool and a warm, and I can take these and mix the tertiary colors. Now, something else to know is that you always name a tertiary starting with the primary color. You say the primary color first and the secondary color second. This tertiary will be red-orange, not orange-red. And this one will be yellow-orange, not orange-yellow. So you want to choose the yellow that is closest to the color you're trying to mix, because if you use the other one, it is more likely to look muddy. Okay, so I put them over here too, just for good measure, to show you. So this primary leans that way, and this one leans this way. In an ideal world, we have a pure color right in the middle, but reality is just not that way. Because if I wanted to make a nice green, and I took this yellowy orange color and this warmer blue and mixed them together, my green is going to be slightly more nasty than if I mix these two, the cooler yellow and the cooler blue. Okay, I'm going to show you the same thing with my colored pencils here. So I'm going to do the same thing with Copic markers. So this is crimson, and it is a cooler red. And vermilion is a warmer red. Okay, now I can mix my tertiaries. So I'm trying to get the most in the middle of the two colors.
And you always start with the lighter of the two colors to mix. So I want to quickly go over the color schemes or color harmonies. This first one that I'm doing is called Monochromatic. That is just different tints and shades of the same hue. Remember that a tint is a color mixed with white, and a shade is a color mixed with black. Here are a few examples of images that are monochromatic. Next, I'm showing an analogous color scheme. Those are 2 or 3 colors that are side by side on the color wheel. So if you think of an analogy in English, it's the same root word. So an analogy is 2 things that are similar, and analogous colors are similar. Here are some images of analogous color schemes. Next is my personal favorite, complementary colors. Now, that is complement spelled with an E, not with an I. Complement with an I is, you look nice today. Complement with an E is colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. So there are 3 pairs of complements. We don't generally include the tertiary colors in that. So each pair has a primary and a secondary color. As you can see, the first one is blue and orange. The next one is green and red. And third is yellow and purple. So side by side, complementary colors make each other pop and stand out. Whereas mixed together, they neutralize each other and make a brown or a gray. Here I wanted to show you an example of how complements neutralize each other. I've mixed together each of the complementary pairs, both with watercolor and Copic markers, for you to see that. Next is split complements. So you have one color and then the 2 colors adjacent to its complement on the other side. Here is blue, and its complement would be orange, but this is yellow, orange, and red orange. And next, there is orange, and the complement would have been blue, but you see a more greenish blue and a blue purple. Okay, the last one I'm going to show you now is triadic. So those are 3 colors that are equally spaced. So basically, it would either be the primary colors that I'm showing you or the 3 secondary colors. So here are 2 images of primary colors, blue, red, and yellow, and then 2 of the secondary colors, orange, green, and purple.